is today all the global companies who had challenges with recession in the US, with almost flat growth in Europe, negative growth in Japan, they had to look at opportunities in the Middle East. They said, oh, Middle East is a place of, it's a gold mine, I'm going there, I'm going to do it. When they come in, they see the challenges and they say that life is not right, and then they go back. But then this is a area, if you understand, if GITEX is just a place where you have close to 150,000 people coming over 5 years, and everyone there is to do business. That's one number. The next slide I want to talk about is this is analytical information. Again, I can trust a little bit, because if I go into either Gartner says there's $186 billion of IT spend next year. I don't know how they get it from, but again, they have their own way of doing it. I was part of this research which was done, and in this, if you see, again, opportunity. And trust me, there's a place called Beer Jam, right? If you wanted to know where I get that. There's a place called in Oman, there's a place called Beer Jam. I don't know why you call it. It's actually beer. Beer means well, and there's a place called jam, so it's a well of jam. It's not they're going to serve you beer over there. But I think Middle East, as I said, they're doing a lot of things right. And some of the leaders are really visionaries. Because I live in Dubai, I can talk a lot about it. The ruler of Dubai is one of those guys who probably laid the foundation for years ahead. A couple of years ago, the Dubai government came and spoke in our event. They talked about how the Dubai government is powering things down. And then I said, what's happening up? They said, wait for the news in 6 months from now. And 6 months later, the Dubai ruler says, Dubai government has to become a smart government, which basically means every single resource or utilization of the government has to move into smart mobile. It has to be enabled in mobile. So whether I pay my bill, I have to apply for a visa, I have to say anything for the government, I could do it with a mobile from wherever I am. And this also includes government-to-government transactions, companies-to-bank transactions. So if I want to create a license for a company, and this does not happen over a period of say 5 years or 10 years. It has to happen now. The decree went out early this year with a mandate that by mid of next year, the entire Dubai government needs to be smart mobile. So what that happens is, all the vendors who are doing something else in their lives, suddenly they call themselves, oh, we are the mobile operator of the world, we can do mobile apps, and they come in. So again, opportunities, there are plenty, but you got to be nimble and doing it. And if you probably would know, they're building cities out of the desert. In Saudi Arabia, they're building 6 cities because they have the money, but they have to have the building infrastructures. What does it mean, these opportunities for IT vendors and IT companies to grow up and deliver results and services to them? Now, yes, these are all opportunities. Now, what are the challenges you get into? Alright, now some of the challenges you will find which are very unique in the Middle East. Many companies are privately owned or government owned. What does that mean? First of all, you don't have to please the stock market. Lots of companies, they do funny stuff. All they're doing is, make the stock market look nice. Not really the results nice, but people can keep buying their stock. But most of it is not. So which basically means they are really result oriented. And there is a decision-making body, that's board of directors. But the man on top, like sometimes you do all the wonderful stuff and says, no, I'm not really interested with it. Okay. So if he's not interested, nothing happens. It's pretty much what happens. I'm not saying that he is, but there's an example of it. But some of the times, companies do it for a personal prestige, but they really make sure they make money out of it. Now, you probably would know about Burj Khalifa, the company which built it as MR. They consistently keep doing year-on-year double-digit growth. And one of the things they do is, when they went and built Burj Khalifa, everybody said, you guys are nuts. Because if you go and research, every single country which has built a skyscraper has gone into recession. Empire State Building, when it was built, you had the big recession in the US. Malaysia, when it built the Twin Towers, the recession hit. Taiwan, the hit. And Dubai, it hit also. Okay. This is pretty much, there's a good rationale behind it, because any country would be in its ultimate, say, concentration, or to be strong to say that I'm good enough to build the world's highest building. And then things go like, recession is always like a sine wave. It goes up and comes down. So people said, why do you want to do it? But, during the recession, they spent close to, I think, $1.5 billion of dirhams building that building. And today they make close to $500 million every year just on the tourist revenue. So it's not just prestige, they really make business sense. So, people say these guys are doing it just because they like, not really. They're doing it because they need. Similar example of the Expo 2020, they're going to spend $45 billion from now till 2020 just creating the venue and the opportunities. But why are they doing that? So if you remember, they're trying to make Dubai as the marketplace of the Middle East and North Africa. They need that prestige, that esteem that we are the best, so international countries can come and invest. And one of the key things when they look at partners is the commitment to the Middle East. I worked with, I'm not going to tell you a name, it starts with A and ends with E, you can probably think about it. They wanted to come into the Middle East, they were there, they wound up the business and they left, they wanted to come back and they said, what is the one thing we can do? We are the world's best, right? I said, you guys don't even have an office in the Middle East. But we don't have to be the world's best. That's the thing about it. Today, Middle East, we don't even invite them for any of our contracts. The commitment to the region is extremely important because in the Middle East, we call something called fly-by-wire vendors. People come in, there's a great opportunity. I've got recession in Europe and Japan, and I'm going to set up an office in the Middle East, and I'm going to work for a few years to make some money. When my primary market gets back, I'm going there. That doesn't happen. People can see through. And then the rest of it is basically, as I said, there's not much of analytical information, so people have to realize about, who's done what. There's a lot of references we need to ask for. What are the other things, challenges you face? Because we don't have analytical information. So if I have to do a business with a company I don't know, the first thing I ask is I call up my friend who's worked with them. When I went to Saudi Arabia many years ago, a friend said, how do the Arabs do business? I said, how? Whether he is buying a camel or he's marrying into a family, the first thing he does is to call up his friend and say, what do you think about these people? In Arabic words we call it reference. In Arabic they call this word as wasta. It basically means references. So that is extremely important. Any partner which comes in the vendor is to have that reference ability that this is a company I trust, I can vouch, I can work for. And if you look at the Middle East market, there's a lot of countries that are doing exceptionally well. Saudi, which is one of the most difficult countries to, if you are an external company going, it's very operationally challenged. Remember, we are a company which came into Saudi Arabia. Even till date, we face challenges in that country. But that's where the opportunity is. But having said that, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, these are coming up really well. And then, if you look at the north of Iraq, there's a place called Erbil in Kurdistan. That's one of the strong economy that's going to be